Hello, students. Welcome to your poetry class. Today we are reading the poem Once Upon a Time by Gabriel Okara. Gabriel Imomotim Bengbin Okara was a Nigerian poet belonging to the Ijo tribes of Nigeria, Africa. Born on 24th April 1921 in Bomondi in Nigeria, and he died in 2019. Okara did his schooling and college during the Second World War in a government high school and government college. His father was belonging to the noble family of Ijaw ethnic group and he was a businessman. Okara worked for some time for British Airways. He also worked as a printer and bookbinder for a publishing company belonging to the government. He translated Ijaw language into English as an information officer for the government, and he also worked for Nigerian government as an ambassador for some time. He is known as a poet as well as a novelist. His work, The Call of the River Nun, won award in 1953, and some of his poetry was published in a literary magazine called Black Orpheus. His famous poems are Piano and Drums, You Laughed and Laughed, and his first novel, The Voice, was published in 1964. Once Upon a Time is a poem which is written after the independence of Nigeria from British rule. The poet is talking here about the shocked lifestyle which has come because of the change of modernity. Okay, this lifestyle has different morals and values and completely different from the old way of life of Nigeria. The poet here is telling us about the childhood experiences where there is no hypocrisy, there is no uh, adult feelings like jealousy or hatred, enmity, etc. In a way, the poem is speaking about appearance versus reality. The parent is talking to his son or his child and telling him how things used to be in the past. The poem is focusing on the father's attitude to cultural change and the change of time past, which has been past, whatever has been past in the previous times, before the incoming of Western culture, which affected the African way of life. So we can see the poem in two different ways. One thing is that it is speaking about the changes that are happening, okay, between the two important time slots, past and present. What used to be in the past and how the morals, values, culture, and the lifestyle was there of the people before the attack of the modernity of the Western world. On the other hand, the poet is also putting the two contrasts of a adult life and a life of a child. So it is innocence and appearance on the one hand. On the other hand, it is past and present. So two different types of themes are appearing here. You can read the poem on these two levels. One on, say, tradition versus modernity or old culture versus new culture. And second one is, say, childhood and adulthood. How the ways go on changing, the lifestyle goes on changing, and from innocence to hypocrisy, how things go on, okay, changing in a tradition. This is the kind of a idea that the writer tries to give it here. a very beautiful poem, Once Upon a Time. So let us now begin with the poem, Once Upon a Time. We will have the first reading of the poem and then we'll begin with the explanation. Once upon a time, son, they used to laugh with their hearts and laugh with their eyes. But now they only laugh with their teeth, while their eyes block cold eyes search behind my shadow. There was a time indeed they used to shake hands with their hearts, but that's gone, son. Now they shake hands without hearts, while their left hands search my empty pockets. Feel at home. Come again, they say. And when I come again and feel at home, once, twice, and there will be no thrice. For then I find doors shut on me. So I have learned many things, son. I have learned to wear many faces, like dresses: home face, office face, street face, host face, cocktail face, with all their conforming smiles like a fixed portrait smile. And I have learned too to laugh with only my teeth and shake hands without my heart. I have also learned to say goodbye when I mean good riddance, to say glad to meet you without being glad, and to say it's been nice talking to you after being bored. But believe me, son, I want to be what I used to be when I was like you. I want to unlearn all these muting things. Most of all, I want to relearn how to laugh, for my laugh in the mirror shows my only teeth like a snake's bare fangs. So show me, son, how to laugh. Show me how I used to laugh and smile once upon a time when I was like you. So the poem, as I told you, is speaking about the differences of an adult world and the world of children. How we put faces, how we go on becoming very much, we can say, uh, acting or pretending, okay, with the societal manners, and how we pretend in the society and we show ourselves to be what we are not. So therefore there is a difference in the adult world and that of the children's world on the one hand. On the other hand, as I already told you, that it is the old ways of life when people were not being influenced by the other culture, western influence, and how they lived the life without any pretenses. So once upon a time, let's therefore begin with the differences of these things and look at the beginning of the poem and even the title of the poem, which is very beautifully, significantly tells us, okay, that how a fairy tale begins, the writer is also beginning, okay, his poem with that particular, address, once upon a time. See, usually how we begin a story, a moral story, or it may be any kind of a fairy tale, we will begin with saying that once upon a time, long long ago. These were the kinds of beginnings that a story used to have. Here the poet is making the father to speak, okay, the father is the speaker here, and the father is speaking to his young child, to his son, saying that, say, once upon a time, as if he is telling the story of the past. He has begun even the poem also in that particular fashion. So, as if he is narrating a story. Once upon a time, son, the poem begins with this line: once upon a time, son, they used to laugh with their hearts and laugh with their eyes. But now they only laugh with their teeth, while their eyes block cold eyes, search behind my shadow. So, once upon a time, what used to happen in the previous times? Okay, in the past time, okay, people were talking, they were laughing, talking and laughing with their hearts. They used to laugh with their hearts, laughing with their hearts and laughing with their eyes. What is the meaning of laughing with their eyes and laughing with their, say, hearts? See, the heart, the laugh, that is when people met in the society, in the, say, outside world, when somebody met someone else, okay, when people met the others, what did they do? They were, see, smile or laugh is one such way of extending your recognition of the other person and greeting. It's a matter of greeting. So how people were greeting each other? By way of laughing or by way of smiling at each other. So they used to laugh with their hearts, in the sense, when they smiled at the other person, when they laughed with them, it was genuinely done, really done, done with the feelings of the heart. It was not an artificial smile or artificial laugh only to pretend to show that yes, I have met you, so I am laughing. Okay, laughing because this is necessary to do. You cannot show a very angry face or a face without any kinds of feelings. You cannot do that. You have to just, at least for sake of pretense, today we are doing the pretense. This happens when you meet someone who is dear to you, someone whom you know very well, someone is a friend, and when you just smile when you meet them, that smile, that laugh is a genuine laugh. And the laugh extends to your eyes. See, your eyes also will be showing those emotions that you have really become happy to meet that person. So this is what is with genuine feelings. When you smile at the other person, greet them with a smile, with a laugh, that becomes a laugh with the hearts and laugh with the, say, eyes. But now they only laugh with their teeth, while their eyes block, cold eyes search behind my shadow. But today, how people greet each other? Not with a genuine smile. When they meet each other, only they open their teeth, they open their mouth, and the teeth is shown, and the bare teeth shows that this smile is not a genuine smile, real smile, not because they have met a friend, not because they are happy to see the other person, therefore they are laughing and greeting, but only for the sake of continuing the manners. Okay, only for the sake of necessity, that they just show their teeth. Okay, and that is not the genuine laugh or genuine smile. Because when somebody laughs with a heart, when somebody laughs with or smiles with the real feelings of the heart, the feelings will touch your eyes, because eyes are the index of mind. They are mirroring your feelings. Therefore, when they are laughing, when they are laughing, naturally this laugh is the one which is with the genuine feelings. If it is with genuine feelings, the eyes are also brightened, the eyes also show the expression that they are really happy to meet the person. Otherwise they look like ice block, cold eyes, as if the ice is again a kind of a image here, and also a symbol of uh, coldness of heart and coldness of feelings. If you don't have any feelings, then your heart is not warm, it is cold, and that coldness is representative of non no other feelings, or non genuine, not genuine feelings. That is how the expression comes there. Therefore, while they laugh with their teeth, but their eyes are not showing any expressions, and they are searching. Moreover, they are searching behind my shadow. The eyes are looking at the other person, as if they are probing. See, this, as if they are searching behind my shadow means, see, in the mind of the mind, the person is thinking that, well, I have met this person in the morning, and I shouldn't have met this fellow because my whole day will go a waste today. And he is not showing any genuine and happy feelings. Instead, he is trying to find out any faults with the other person. He will be blaming him in his mind, he will be criticizing him in the mind, and he will be even going in his mind, going through the character of the person who is in front of him, or thinking that, oh, this bad fellow whom I have met, oh, this fellow who is not at all, say, a friend, he is like an enemy to me, and I have to meet him in the morning. First of all, why should I? He is laughing only for the sake of laugh, but not actually with real feelings. Whereas in the mind, he is criticizing him. In the mind, he is showing some bad feelings about him. Therefore, the feelings are not touching the eyes, and eyes are remaining as cold, ice cold blocks and nothing else, not the mirrors of feelings and expressions. Therefore, this is the pretense that has been done. So People nowadays meet each other, and as a matter of greeting, they laugh and they smile, but their smiles are not genuine. They are not from the heart, but only they are the actions of the pretense or acting, which is to be done because the society expects you to laugh and shake hands and do all those kinds of etiquettes and manners. So, therefore, this is the first change that the poet is, or the father has been witnessing, that in the previous times, old times, people were laughing with hearts, with genuinely, because they were expressing the real feelings. Today, they are not expressing any feelings, but they are laughing and making a pretense of it only, an acting of it, and therefore their laugh is not genuine and real. Now, the second stanza says this: There was a time indeed, they used to shake hands with their hearts, but that's gone, son. Now they shake hands without hearts, while their left hands search my empty pockets. The second stanza also goes to the second important manner which we usually follow in our society. When people meet each other, either they smile, first they smile, or they laugh, and then they extend their hands for handshake. So this is the second kind of a action that we observe here, once again, which is with full of pretense. There was a time indeed, okay, the father says, there was once upon a time, the time was such that people used to shake hands with their hearts, in the sense, again, when they touched each other hands, extended their hands for handshake, and when they held each other's hands in their own hands, and then shaking of hands was done with real hearts, or with genuine feelings, because the person whom they met, they were happy to meet him, and they were happy to extend their happiness, saying that meeting with you is a pleasure. So for that sake they were shaking hands, and that particular action of shaking hands, it in a way physically it extended the genuine feelings that you felt for the person. But today, he says, that is gone, son. Nowadays, that is not the case. People are shaking hands, no doubt, but they are shaking without any genuine feelings. Again, this is only an action, that action done only for the sake of keeping manners in the society, not really done because of the heart's feelings. Now they shake hands without hearts, while their left hands search my empty pockets. The second thing is that, see, people are shaking hands only to keep certain relationship, or just to continue, okay, the acquaintance. See, you know somebody and you are shaking hands with him, and you are shaking hands with the view or with the idea that, well, how much and how far this person is helpful to me, how he can be able to help me in future, whether there is any benefit from this person, any advantage that I can get from him, okay, any work I can get done of mine from okay, this person. So only the benefits, advantages, or the kinds of okay, things that we want, any work that we want from that person, for the sake of our own selfish motives, that we shake hands. That is what is, say, searching my empty pockets, means the right hand is shaking, but the left hand is searching empty pockets, in the sense, see, it is trying to see that the idea of searching empty pocket is, really he is not putting the hands and searching the pockets, but he means to say that on the other hand, the other person is calculating in his mind at the same time when he is handshaking, that whether I can use this person for any of my own benefits. So he is trying to see the, okay, any kinds of selfish benefits, and with the motives, selfish motives, that he is trying to do that, trying to check the worth of the person, trying to find out okay, whatever the advantages that he can take, or the benefits that he can take. So the utility, this kind of a feeling of utility makes the relationships to be sour, it makes the relationship go, okay, as a waste, because they are selfish, okay, selfish ways of keeping relationships, but not for the sake of, okay, real relationships of friendships, acquaintances, knowing each other, helping each other. These kinds of genuine human feelings are missing in them, and this is what is the kind of difficulty that we find in the modern methods of handshaking. That is what, okay, the father feels. He says, in the olden days, people were shaking hands with the real feelings, because they were not trying to find out any benefits from the other person, not any selfish, okay, wishes that they had to get fulfilled from the other person, but they were only thinking of the genuine relationship between each other, and uh, with a helping hand they were doing this. But now the same ideas have disappeared, and people do these, they continue these manners, these etiquettes of smiling, these etiquettes of handshaking, but these feelings are not the real and true feelings. They are the feelings which are completely driven by the selfish motives. Okay, so that is why the father is observing a change between the past and the present. Now, the third uh, kind of a uh, action that we see here is, see, in olden days people used to visit one another's homes. Unlike today, we have televisions in our homes, we have internet in our homes, and we are only engrossed with the mobile phones and WhatsApp messages, and so many things are there to occupy our time today. But in olden days, people used to visit each other, going to their friends' houses, relatives' houses, okay, and extending a warm relationship with one another has been one of the important part of human communication in olden days. And this is what used to happen earlier. If somebody, if, say, the poet is talking about the old times, how people used to visit one another when they went to somebody's house, what was the kind of a welcome given to them? This was the kind of a welcome given to them. See, feel at home. The third stanza speaks about that. Feel at home, come again, they say. And when I come again and feel at home, once, twice, there will be no thrice. For then I find doors shut on me. See, this is the change that we are going to see it here. What is the kind of thing used to happen in olden times? When you visited people, they used to feel very happy, and they used to extend a hearty welcome to you, used to offer you tea, coffee, they were offering some kind of, okay, even something to eat. Then they were sitting before you and talking to you and remembering the old times, memories, exchanging all kinds of ideas. That is how there used to be a warm, genuine feeling, and they were inviting them to their own home. And when the person was leaving, then they were saying, okay, feel at home, come again. Okay, that is how they used to say. They were all again done with the genuine, real feelings once upon a time. Because somebody visited their house, they were happy at that time. But today, this is not the case. The change has come over like this. When you visit somebody's house, say, after you see, they open the doors, and the facial expression itself will say, oh, you are unwelcome. But still, the words from come from the mouth is, oh, come inside. And then they make you sit, and they say, oh, feel at home, feel at home, be comfortable. Okay, be comfortable, uh, sit here and enjoy your time. That is how they used to say, and even now they say, feel at home, be comfortable here. And they try to offer you tea, coffee, with the, say, wish that you should go as early as possible. Okay, so therefore, now the hospitality is done, but this hospitality is not with the real, genuine feelings, only for the sake of, again, to be done, these things to be done, therefore to be done. Otherwise, people may mistake you, and they may think that, oh, you are not a proper person. Okay, you are not really a person with manners and etiquettes, and you are not at all welcoming the guest. This is how people will talk about you at your back, and then they will even make criticism of you. Therefore, you don't want any criticism, and hence you are offering all these kinds of things, but not with any genuine feelings again. Therefore, when they say, feel at home, come again, when you are leaving the house, they will say, come again. But is it really that they want you to come back? No. they don't, because they say these words only for the namesake. And when I come again and feel thinking that yes, my invitation is real, and if you go to their house again, then see, second time when you go, once they will welcome you. Second time, the welcome is not with the same kind of a enthusiasm. Third time, there will be no thrice. Okay, only once they will welcome you. Second time, there is no proper welcome. Third time, there is no welcome at all. Okay, so it is no chance, because then they will close their doors on your face, as if to say that enough, you have been coming to our house again and again. And this time, when they understand that you are going to come to their house, beforehand they will prepare a plan for themselves. Either they will leave the house, okay, and the closed doors will welcome you, or they will pretend in such a way that you don't feel like entering into their house, because the doors are shut upon you, in the sense that you are absolutely not expected to go into their house and spend time there. You have no chance, and therefore they make it very clear on your face that you are not at all welcome in their house, and therefore you will return. This is what is the present day situation. All those words of hospitality are being spoken, okay, they have been expressed, but these expressions are not the genuine real expressions. These expressions are the expressions which are done only for the sake of, okay, pretense, only for the sake of say uh, acting, or you can say to keep up only the show that the person should not mistake and should not spread any kind of a bad message about him. Only this is what is their wish, and for the sake of force of the society, because all these three stanzas will speak to you here about the societal manners, how society has developed certain etiquettes, certain manners, okay, for the communications of people, and for keeping up relationships between, okay, human beings in the human world. So these three stanzas therefore speak about those etiquettes and manners which are expected in the society to be shown by people as the manners of a civil society. If you want to follow them, if you will follow them, people consider you to be civilized, otherwise people consider you to be uncivilized. And earlier all these manners and etiquettes were followed with genuine feelings of heart, because people really wanted to have such kinds of communications. When they really met their acquaintances, when they really met their friends, their neighbors, okay, the people whom they know in the society, they were exchanging the words of, okay, happiness through either a genuine laugh, because the laugh expressed the real feeling of meeting someone whom you know and you really felt happy about it, and you laughed at it, you were shaking hands, people were shaking hands, because it was a feeling of genuine, okay, friendship or extension of happiness done through the physical act of shaking hands. And third one was to visit the houses and spend some time together, live a community life, okay, and community values were spread through these kinds of visits. But such community relationships are no more there. Life is changing, values are changing, all those manners and etiquettes are followed, no doubt about it, but these followed etiquettes and manners are not at all the manners genuinely done, but only they are done for the sake of the pretense, and this pretense is really not appreciable. So what has happened? Say, this is what is the change that has been brought from past to the present. Okay, how people were in the past and how they are in the present, they are two different things that we really observe here. And therefore the poet is that is the speaker in the poem is really offended, and he feels absolutely unhappy about this change, and he is expressing these changes with the unhappy heart, and he is telling it to his young son, because young son is the representative of this modern times and he himself is belonging to the old times. And that is how the juxtaposition of old and new is happening here. Okay, and that is how we can see. Also, at the same time, we can see that how the same kinds of actions are done, whether it is laughing when you meet your friends, or the people whom you know, or whether you are shaking hands, or whether you are visiting. See, all these things, even in the world of children, when it is being done, it is still done with the genuine feelings, that when we become adults, same kind of genuine feelings we are not able to see. That is why the lines here which show that while this, there's the second stanza and the first stanza, end of the stanzas, we have, while their eyes block, cold eyes search behind my shadow, or while their left hands search my empty pockets, or then I find the doors shut on me. All these lines suggest that how in the adult world the actions are done bluntly, how they are done without any botheration of feelings, whereas the same things are not done in the world of children. World of children is full of innocence. The world of children is full of genuine feelings, but the same genuine feelings are not there in the world of adult, because adults are only thinking about as many benefits and as many advantages they can take from the other person. They think about in terms of profits and losses, whereas the children do not value their relationships in terms of profits and losses. Their say relationship is always pure, and it is out of heart. That is why the differences do come from the world of children and the world of adults, which the poet is very specifically, okay, and very beautifully bringing it here in these three stanzas. Okay, so this is all the three stanzas that we have seen today. The next remaining stanzas we shall see it in the next class. Okay, so till then, take care of yourself.